graduated and I had to go work corporate. And once I saw what was out there in the real world of quote unquote corporate, I was very disappointed in what was being offered to patients and what we had to do as doctors and the work environment we were put in, what we were able to give to our patients. It was sad. And so I said, nope, not for me. Well, starting cold is extremely difficult, especially in a market like this. So I was looking for doctors who were ready to retire. And so for about that year and a half, I was out there looking, and there were several prospects that came up, and I finally found the first one at Plantation Eye Center, and I worked with the doctor there who was actually going up north to go to the VA hospital for family reasons. And so it was a perfect opportunity to take that over, and it was entry level, and I saw that there was lots of potentials and things that we got to add to the business and bring more opportunity to the patient, and so that started it.
Yeah, so since he graduated first, he purchased his first eye center in 2010. However, I was still in school at that time. So I was finishing my school, my extra insights, my rotations and things at that time. And then once I graduated, we did not work together. I love that man with all my heart, but we cannot work at the same office. It just was not gonna be beneficial for our personal relationship or professional. So we decided that again, just to get a little bit more experience and kind of just dive in a little bit differently into the field besides private practice, I decided to work corporate. So he maintained Plantation at that time, I worked corporate, and then eventually we merged together to buy the eye centers.
When the Bussas came in, I'll never forget it, December 31st, the owner of the practices came in and he's like, you guys, I'm selling the practice. The owners will be here on January 2nd. You'll meet them. He looked at me and he said, it's going to benefit you. So stay and see what it's like.
We had a couple key staff members that we acquired from the previous owner that just showed amazing potential, and we worked with them and groomed them and got them to the point where, you know, one of them, she's the district manager, so she really goes around to where me and Dr. Kehoe can't be, because we're stuck in a dark room taking care of patients, so we don't know what's going on outside.
On that day, when they told me their vision, what they were about, what they were doing, they sold me on the vision of the practice, the vision of Premier, and like what their goals were and what their desires were for South Florida, the patient care, and I fell in love.
So it was initially a little crazy of a journey, because when we purchased Plantation in 2010, we then purchased Boca and West Palm simultaneously. So overnight, we went from 1 office to 3 offices. Initially, there was definitely some growing pains and a big diversity of just 1 office to 3. And both of us knew not only to the field, but to being owners in itself. So it was a little, looking back on it, I don't regret it, of course. I love the decision. And I think the urgency of really wanting to set up shop was there for us. We didn't want to wait and potentially miss out on other opportunities. But it was definitely a crazy time. So, like I said, my dad is an optometrist, and he owns 2 or 3 clinics, 3 now at the time, back in the Midwest. So I knew that having ownership at that level was important to me, since I've saw him, you know, through that process and through the last several years while I was growing up as well. And Steve itself, he loves the independent aspect of it. He loves having autonomy. He loves making his own rules and playing by his own playbook. And really, there is a clinical difference between private practice and corporate. Private practice, you have the opportunity to develop relationships with your patients, and you cultivate a more personalized experience, versus corporate or having more of a big box retailer type experience. It's a little bit more cookie cutter. So we both knew that the type of care we want to deliver is going to be most executed in private practice.
I really liked what my old doctor did, was just connecting with patients and just doing the basic 1 or 2, giving glasses and contact lenses. And when I got the taste of the high-end experience, I really thought that was a niche, and not many offices are able to do that. So I said, let's try to focus in and create that. And that was a challenge, but at the same time, it was a challenge I was up to, and I'm glad I did it. Worked at a high-end optical down in North Miami Beach for about a year and a half, and kind of cut my teeth there and got into which was great because I learned so much about the one part I didn't really learn much about is high-end optical. I worked with this one guy who was just a master in the actual frame part of it. And so that's where I got a lot of my education was from him as far as the frame part, which I never got that in school or anywhere else, which was amazing. So I'm really thankful for that year and a half of being exposed to the high-end aspect away from all of the corporate and just the quote-unquote regular, which I'm glad I got that experience. That kind of changed my career path and where I wanted to go. The core mission and philosophy that drives our team is really, it's kind of all in the name Premier Eye Center. We just want to be the best of the best. And I learned that when I was out in working at these other corporate locations, just the equipment that they had or didn't have. One piece of equipment was so old I didn't even know how to work it, so it really goes into we want to be premier. I want to have the best devices that we can to do the eye exam, to make the glasses. We have an on-site lab at every single one of our offices to turn around jobs as quick as we can, keep quality control in-house, not lose that quality control to the insurance labs or anything like that. So it's really every decision we know, because we are doctor-owned, we are family-owned. So every decision that we make here at Premier is done by me and my wife, and it's between not only just business people, but the doctors who are actually seeing the patient. So that's what really sets us apart from any of the other places out there. There is a handful of other private offices that are owned and operated by the doctor, and it's getting far and few in between, to be honest with you. So we're kind of a diamond in a rough, and I'm proud of it. And it's very tough to be the David amongst all these Goliaths, in this optical world. But who really wins in it is the patients win. And that's what I always, whatever is best for Premier is best for the patient. If it's best for the patient, then it's best for us. And so that's why I almost answer any decision that I have to make. Obviously all the medical decisions are problem focused, patient focused, but then all of the peripheral stuff that gives us everything around here has to be answered as well from that perspective. So that's really kind of our core, is we want to be premier. And at this new office here in Plantation, it's top of the line.
And our core mission has always been increased technology or advanced technology, and amazing or premium eyewear, giving our patients the best products optically. But for me, I think it's more those personalized relationships. It's really neat for us to have a relationship with our patient and not just a doctor-patient, but invest in their lives, invest in, I had a patient earlier this morning, she came in to tell me she was so excited her son got married in September. She really, has a relationship with us that we feel invested with what she's doing and how she's living her life. So I think overall, our biggest mission is to deliver the best products with the highest technology, but with a personalized touch.